Are you actually kidding me right now? I'm absolutely unequivocally furious. What we just witnessed in East Rutherford wasn't just a tough tactical setback, it was an absolute unmitigated humiliation. I want answers, and I want them right now from every single person who stepped onto that pitch wearing the iconic yellow jersey. We are deep in the business end of 2026 World Cup. The knockout rounds are tearing across North America and the stakes could not possibly be higher. The conventional wisdom going into this round of 16 clash was that Brazil would inevitably find their groove, unleash their classic samba magic and comfortably dance their way past Norway into the quarterfinals. Everyone assumed the raw pedigree alone would carry them through. But let's completely blow that lazy illusion out of the water. What we actually got was a cowardly, structurally bankrupt tactical disaster class that signals the absolute death to modern Brazilian football identity. Today I'm going to strip away the excuses and show you exactly how this team choked, why they had absolutely no plan B, and how a complete lack of leadership destroyed an entire nation's dreams. And if you think I'm just delivering an angry hot take, let me drop the one damning statistic that tells the entire story. 34% possession. Let's start right there because that number makes me physically sick. 34% possession for Brazil, the country of Pele, Garincha, Zico, Ronaldinho, playing a World Cup knockout match like a relegation threatened club side desperately praying to survive a penalty shootout. It is historical malpractice. Post 2022, this federation promised us the sweeping tactical rebuild that would marry modern structural discipline with traditional Brazilian flair. Instead, they built a squad that is fundamentally terrified of the football. When they actually managed to string three passes together, it was the most soul crushing, uninspired, cowardly sideways passing you will ever see in your life. Gabriel to Marquinhos, Marquinhos back to Gabriel, a casual lateral ball to the fullback, and then absolute panic the moment a Norwegian white shirt stepped up to press. There was zero central progression, no structural positional play between the lines, and zero bravery to break down a compact mid block. They choked. They spent 90 minutes passing horizontally, completely refusing to take a single creative risk, entirely abdicating their duty to dictate the game, and blindly hoping an isolated spark of individual magic would bail them out. But you know what? That structural rot plates in comparison to the absolute farce we witnessed when Brazil was thrown a lifeline. Here's the twist that perfectly exposes the psychological collapse of this entire squad. Brazil gets a penalty. The entire stadium, the millions watching at home, everyone expects Vinícius Júnior, a Ballon d'Or protagonist, a man who has scored in Champions League finals, the designated leader of this new era, to grab that ball and demand the responsibility. Instead, Vinny shrinks. He literally looks around, avoids the moment, and hands the ball to Bruno Guimarães. Are you serious? Bruno Guimarães, a phenomenal box-to-box midfielder, yes, but a man who has maybe taken three penalties in his entire professional life. Why on earth is your central midfielder taking the most high-stakes pressure cooker spot kick off your country's last 4 years? It was a complete and total vacuum of accountability. When the lights got blindly bright, the superstars players ran away from the smoke. It was a mental capitulation broadcast live to the entire planet, proving that this team has absolutely zero psychological preparation for the real tournament dogfight. Now let's pivot for a second, because we have to give immense credit where it is fully earned. Norway played a tactically flawless match, and Erling Haaland was an absolute unadulterated monster. He didn't just score the goals, he physically bullied, battered, and dismantled Gabriel and Marquinhos for 90 continuous minutes. Every single long ball launched out of the back, Haaland held it up, absorbed the contact, and entirely relieved the pressure for his defensive line. He dragged Brazil's centre backs into deep, uncomfortable territory and completely exposed their lack of raw defensive cohesion. And behind that rock solid Norwegian low block, their goalkeeper turned into an absolute brick wall. He pulled off three genuinely world class saves in the second half when Brazil finally decided to look forward out of pure desperation, completely deflating any late hope of a comeback. Norway had a definitive drill plan. They executed it with ice cold Scandinavian discipline, and they fully deserve to march on. They looked like a real unified team while Brazil looked like 11 individual multimillionaires who met in the stadium parking lot for 5 minutes before kickoff. But the real tragedy of this structural disaster, the part that genuinely breaks the heart of any true football romantic, is that this was Neymar's last dance. This was supposed to be the glorious redemption arc, the moment one of the most naturally gifted talents of our generation finally emulated Messi's 2022 triumph to cement his legacy. Instead, his international career ends in the most miserable, uninspiring, and chaotic way imaginable. Seeing Neymar sitting on the pitch at the final whistle, completely broken, weeping into the grass of East Rutherford, was devastating. But let's be brutally honest here. The environment around this national team since the Qatar World Cup has been a complete and utter joke. Mismanaged tactical experiments, constant administrative drama, and a lazy reliance on individual genius completely flushed the final years of Neymar's international prime down the toilet. He deserved a world-class, coherent tactical system to support him. Instead, he was forced to watch a total structural collapse from the front row. Ultimately, this catastrophic 1-2 defeat to Norway isn't some freak overnight accident. It is the completely logical, inevitable conclusion of a federation and a team that completely forgot how to play football with courage. Brazil didn't just lose a football match today, they abandoned their entire identity. They played with profound fear, they abdicated the ball, and when the pressure suffocated them, they had absolutely zero tactical answers and no leaders to guide them home. Norway rightfully marches onward to Miami to face the winner of the Mexico and England clash, while Brazil flies back to Rio to face a brutal, sweeping, and thoroughly deserved institutional autopsy. But I want to hear from you guys. Is this the most embarrassing Brazilian performance in modern World Cup history? And who takes the blame for that penalty catastrophe? Sort of in the comments below. Smash that like button if you appreciate the raw, unfiltered analysis, and hit that subscribe to stay logged into Soccer Mates for the rest of these chaotic 2026 World Cup knockouts. We'll see you on the next one.